All right, Amanda Mills, thank you so much for staying up late on this long night. It's been a big night for City Council, for our Metro Council, and for the people who have been really concerned about what was going to happen with the Metro government budget. And I think that probably some of our biggest fears came true tonight in this particular vote that took place. And you are a huge advocate for the homeless. You work with the South End Street Angels, and you work down at Phoenix Place and Phoenix Health, and all kinds of wonderful things that a lot of people really wish that they could know more about and be more involved in. And you're one of the boots on the ground, as we say, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Talk to us a little bit about what the impact of explain what Metro Council voted tonight, and then talk to us about the impact of it on the services that you particularly are concerned about, including our most vulnerable populations.
Okay, so many people are aware that the vote tonight was to increase taxes on like life insurance and home ownership properties, things like that, up to 12.1% to cover a deficit of $65 million. There's a lot of finger pointing and things like that. About who's to blame, about the budget crisis and things for the pension. But at the end of the day, we still have a problem, and we had to address it. So tonight, Metro Council voted on whether or not to increase taxes, and the vote was 15-1 that they chose not to. So that means a lot of community-based services will be cut, and that includes closing down 2 fire stations, taking an ambulance off the streets. The next recruitment classes for LMPD police officers, the next 3 will be canceled. All of the progress that we've made for the homeless, the low barrier shelter, low barrier shelters, the additional monies that were given to us at the beginning of the year, the $500,000 programs that were funded with that will be no longer funded as of June. And Meals on Wheels for seniors will be halted. They will be closing 4 neighborhood places out of 8. So that will make it harder on people that need food stamps, Medicaid, child care assistance, things like that. Because the state's already short-staffed, so closing the facilities is going to make it even more challenging.
I'm going to just go ahead for the heck of it, and I'm going to just pull up that Metro Council slate that we posted a little while ago, and I put this actually on your post. If you haven't seen it, I put it in the comments section of your post when you talked about what happened. The vote was 15-11, and there were a few surprises in there, Amanda. So I'm just going to go through them one at a time, and you can comment if you want to, or I'll go through them a few at a time. Jessica Green, Democrat in the 1st District, voted no.
Yeah, that's very surprising, being that maybe, give or take, approximately 30% of people in West Louisville actually own their house. And the average median salary for the families that live in the West Louisville is between $21,000 and $22,000. So they're high utilizers of community-based services. So that was very surprising to me.
Keisha Dorsey, District 3, Democrat, no. Donna Purvis, Democrat, District 5. Paula McCraney, Democrat, District 7. Kevin Kramer, Republican, District 11.
And I had spoke to him, so I knew that's not much of a surprise. Actually, he had a really good conversation with me about his hopes and goals for, coming up with a solution. But none of that prevailed tonight.
Mark Fox, Democrat, District 13, no.
Surprised.
Cindy Fowler, Democrat, District 14, no.
I kind of knew that she was going to vote no because the people of Valley Station have been very vocal. They've had several different groups. So they put a lot of heat on her because out in Valley Station, I think the median of homeowners is like 65%. So a lot of people in Valley Station actually own their homes. So statistically wise, I can see her, even though she's a Democrat. I can see her voting no. Yes.
Scott Reed, District 16. No.
Not surprised.
I'm surprised to a degree because I took him on a cruising with the council ride last night on Take It From Tara, and we had some extended discussion about this, and he talked about his compassion for the homeless and about the work that you guys do as outreaches, and I'm a little surprised. Marilyn Parker, Republican in the 18th District. Anthony Pagentini, Republican in the 19th District. Stuart Benson, Republican 20th. Robin Engel, Republican 22nd. James Peden, Republican 23rd. David Yates, Democrat 25th. And Brent Ackerson, Democrat in the 26th. Those are all no votes.
Yeah, I'm really surprised about Brent because he's a very big advocate when it comes to the homeless as well. I mean, we don't see him so much in mainstream, but, you know, anytime we've asked for his support on anything, he's always been there. David Yates, it doesn't surprise me. Again, his area is a lot of homeowners and things like that. The one that did surprise me was Councilmember Blackwell from District 12. He did vote yes, and I really seriously thought he was going to be with Cindy Fowler and David Yates. So we do appreciate Mr. Rick Blackwell.
Well, let's go through the people who voted yes. These
Okay.
are the people that have consistently supported you, the Forgotten Louisville, Hip Hop Cares, all the other homeless outreaches, the low barrier shelter concept, Meals on Wheels you talked about, senior services, public safety, which is so important. So yes, Barbara Shanklin, District 2, Barbara Sexton Smith, our hero, District 4. I got to take my glasses off. I'm going blind in my old age. Our president, Metro Council President David James, District 6. Brandon Cohn, District 8. We appreciate him. My favorite councilman, who is my own, Bill Hollander, District 9, voted yes. Pat Mulvihill, District 10, voted yes. Rick Blackwell, as you just mentioned, District 12. Kevin Triplett, Marcus Winkler voted yes. Nicole George, District 21. Madonna Flood, District 24. Thank you to those 11 Metro Council people who are putting the needs of the city and their constituents ahead of those who would be afraid to pay more in taxes. And I tell you what, I mean, I am very fortunate to own my home, and I also have a hard time when that tax bill comes in, and I have to do a lot of pre-planning ahead. But I would sacrifice that in order to know that if my home caught on fire, I'd have a fire truck pulling up within a couple of minutes. You know, or if I were robbed, that the police would be here within moments instead of having the classes of recruits cut.
And I think the argument from those that voted yes or
no
on the tax increase,
right,
is that they feel that budgets could be cut somewhere else,
right,
and that there could be. But when asked, where can it be cut? What are your suggestions? Nobody comes up with any solutions or answers besides the mayor knew this was going to happen, XYZ. You know, it doesn't matter what, you know, we can't go back and fix the past. What we can fix is now.
Right.
And so if there is a solution, they should have presented it. And nothing else was presented. So I don't see, if they don't work together and they need to quit pointing fingers, first of all, because the issues are going to get worse. We're going to see homelessness rise. We are going to see the need for police, fire, and EMS, but because of crime rates higher, are going to rise. And then also just the lack of resources for the teens in the summertime to keep them engaged and so forth. So there's a lot of things that have to be addressed.
Well, I can tell you that I'm fortunate to work in a place that is not reliant upon the city for funding, and that's Bridgehaven Mental Health Services, where we help a lot of people with serious and persistent mental illness. And I tell you what, it scares me to death that one of the places that's in between the street and Bridgehaven, which is the living room,
it's going to be going away.
Is going to be cut.
Yes.
And I just took someone there the other night, Amanda, and it saved his life.
Mm-hmm.
and they moved him to Wellspring into the crisis stabilization unit, and I'm hoping that they're going to be able to refer him back to Bridgehaven so he can get help with the mental illness that he's struggling with, and that would be able to help him confront his homelessness. We are all so inextricably entwined in this city. And it's making me sick to think that the work you've done and the other homeless outreaches have done to get where you are today is being placed in dire jeopardy, and that the people who can be taken to the living room will now either have to go to jail or go to the hospital or stay on the street.
And my thing is this: if our tax dollars can pay to put somebody in jail because they're homeless, because they want to criminalize homelessness, then why can't we come up with tax dollars to make sure that there's somewhere for them to go? That's my other frustration. It's like, I sit there and point fingers all day. I don't care. But at the end of the day, their problem that they think is big now is going to get bigger.
Well, I think that, I don't understand this because I haven't had a chance to really look at it yet, but Terry Miners posted something on his Facebook page that I just looked at that I thought was interesting, and he said that there's a gentleman, Dennis Frankenberger, who has done an analysis that says $300 million in taxpayer money is being overspent on Yum Center debt payments, that $300 million over 30 years could be redirected to help with our alleged budget shortfall, and he's asking Metro Council to address that. And as I said, I haven't had a chance to really look at that and pay attention to what he's saying, but it sounds like it could be something that would be worth looking at.
Yeah, and even then, I'm 100% sure that money's being frugally spent or frivolously spent in areas that don't really hurt our city. It may hurt the appearance, but you can't build up a city without addressing the root cause of the problems.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and the root cause of problems that we have in this city right now, address that in regards to the work that you do with homelessness. What are the problems that are causing us to have a crisis of epidemic proportions in homelessness?
Lack of affordable housing. The city gets $40 million a year for affordable housing, and studies show that we need $3.5 billion. The lack of people wanting resources that will benefit the homelessness, or even just low income families. They don't want them in their backyard, so then you have the resistance from that. The lack of support from certain council members. That's frustrating in itself. So
I want to shout out to one particular council person. You know who I'm going to say, who has welcomed us to set up a homeless encampment, a campground in the city with all kinds of things that would make it easier for people who are experiencing homelessness to live, to take showers, to camp, to have services provided, to do laundry, and that's Barbara Sexton Smith. She's truly forward-thinking, and she has welcomed everyone to consider this possibility. And that's something that really is important to say, because you just mentioned the fact that a lot of people don't want them in their backyard. And I know that citizens have expressed that. There are as many good people who have said, we'll do what we can to help. And there's other people who have been kind enough to say, I have 40 acres in Oldham County and they can camp there. Well, the problem is services for homeless are not available anywhere but downtown.
Right.
And that's why that's not a practical solution.
We got people that live in Valley Station or out of Okolona or even Fern Valley, Fern Creek, all those areas that can't even get downtown.
Right.
Services because of transportation. So,
right.
But I appreciate those people that are willing to step up, and I definitely admire Councilwoman Barbara Sexton Smith.
Yes.
She's always been a great advocate. She is a woman of her word.
She is.
She doesn't sugarcoat anything. She tells you like it is. And
she sure does. And that's what we love about her.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to introduce, for the purposes of bringing people up to speed, because we've got quite a few folks who've popped in since we started talking. This is Amanda Mills. She founded the South End Street Angels, which is one of the wonderful homeless outreaches in this town. It does so much work to help those who are vulnerable on the street. And, we're talking about a lot of vulnerable populations right now that are going to be affected by this unwillingness of the Metro Council by just a few votes to impose a tax rate increase. And, God only knows, I don't want to have to pay any more in taxes. But, whatever you do to the least of my brothers and sisters, that you do unto me. And we're all only one paycheck, one catastrophic illness, one terrible car accident away from being in the same spot. And what if it was us? What if it was our neighbor? What if it was our family member? I think we'd have a different outlook.
Yeah. I don't think people really realize the impact until it does affect them. I was reading some of the comments on, some of the local news stations, and some of the comments that were said on there were really deplorable. But it lets you know that education is something that needs to be done to the community, because I don't think people really understand. They see the surface, they see the image of the issue, but they don't understand like the root causes, the solutions, and things like that. So educating and communication are the two biggest things.
I think so too. And I want to just ask you, if you will, because I know you've got to go to bed, you've got an early morning. Tell us what you do in your daytime life when you're not out serving on the street.
I work full-time as a homeless outreach worker. A lot of people know where I work at. I can't say without permission from HR, but I do that full-time during the day. We offer medical services, case management, things like that. And then, of course, I do my outreach and all that fun stuff.
Well, you are amazing, and you, along with all the other boots on the ground homeless outreaches who give so much of your time, your own personal money, you ask, you beg, you borrow, you do everything you possibly can to get people to give. And I've asked Jeff Gill this question a number of times, and I'm going to ask this to you too. There are people who are of the opinion that loading up the pickup truck and taking their spare furniture downtown to Jefferson and Jackson to give them a more homey feel at the homeless encampment is a good idea. And there are also people who want to hang clothes over the fences under the underpasses thinking that that's going to help. What is the best advice from a professional dealing with those who are experiencing homelessness? What's the best way we as citizens can help you help them?
Well, people that do that, I know that they mean well, and that alone deserves to be recognized, and we do appreciate the gestures, but at the same time, it also handicaps any progress that we've made. There's such thing as over-serving our population of homelessness, and there comes the risk of health issues, fire hazards. Then it also brings attention to the camps, which then in turn turns into a 21-day posted notice because people complain about them being there. So then there's also just safety issues.
Talk about the 21-day posted notice, Amanda, so people know what that means.
21-day posted notice. Nobody's ever said who is the first person to initiate it. We don't know who that person is, but they just pop out of nowhere. The 21-day posted notice is where Louisville Metro and Solid Waste Management go to a campsite, and they let them know they have 21 days to relocate or find shelter to go in, and then they reach out to outreach services, mainly the grassroots organizations that are not paid, to go out and be the messenger to the most vulnerable that they have to move or they could face criminal charges.
I'm going to encourage folks who are interested in what you're saying to check out the Facebook pages of the homeless outreaches that serve this community in Louisville, and that includes South End Street Angels, The Forgotten Louisville, Hip Hop Cares, Exit Zero, My Dog Eats First. Help me name some more.
Keep Louisville Warm.
Yep, Chad Kane.
Share the Love, Rick Adams.
Yep.
Fern Creek United Methodist Church, Dale Glass.
We're going to forget some because it's late and we're very tired.
There's a good amount of them.
I'm going to go back to our Saturday rally of a few weeks ago, and I will copy and paste all of your Facebook pages to tonight, so people will be able to see where they can call and where they can go and where they can give.
Oh, Street Disciples, Scott Lampton.
Right. I really am sorry that the vote went the way it went tonight, and I hope that there is some other way, whether it looks like there is or not. I'm an eternal optimist, that we can find a way to make up this shortfall so these cuts do not have to be made, especially the ones that are precious to us, who love the people who are the most vulnerable. And I appreciate you and everything you do every single day, and all of your kinfolk in the homeless outreach community, because you guys are all one big family.
Thank you. Yeah, we really are. And like you said, we got to be optimistic. Together we've conquered a lot, and one thing that I can say about us is we're just as resilient as the populations that we serve.
Yes, you are.
We're not going anywhere.
It takes a lot of work to be homeless, and Tiny said that a number of times. Tiny Markwell, leader of the Forgotten Louisville. You walk all day. You walk to get services. You walk to get a shower. You walk to get a meal. You walk to get your Social Security check that you may need because you may have PTSD. A lot of mental illness is found among the homeless community. A lot of drug abuse, unfortunately, substance use disorder, as Tiny has very clearly said, found among the homeless community as well. So, we try to use person-centered language, and sometimes we slip, and I do too, back into the vernacular. I don't like the use of the term druggies. I don't like the use of the term the homeless. We talk about people experiencing homelessness. And Jeff Gill always says, respect and love is the most important thing that you can give to people who are suffering from any one of those or all three of those.
Yep. And just a little bit of hope,
You guys are hope dealers. You're going to get T-shirts that say you're hope dealers instead of dope dealers.
Right. We got a few keychains out there floating around. We need to work on the shirts.
I love that. Amanda Mills, thank you for staying up late, and I know you got an early morning, so I appreciate you always for being part of an unexpected pop-up. Take it from Tara, but I love you guys, and I'm glad that we can give you a little bit of a voice that you really need.
Thank you, and we love you too. And I don't know if anybody's ever really given you the recognition that you deserve, because you may not go out to the camps on a weekly basis, but anytime there's an event or anything like that, you are definitely an asset to us in communicating our needs and letting our voices be heard. So we do appreciate you as well.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you. And I'm going to have to get out to the camps with you more frequently.
Yeah, you're always welcome.
I'd love that. Take care. Good night. God bless. And folks, let your Metro Council people know what you think. Thank the ones who voted the right way.
Yes.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.
Good night.
Bye-bye.